Hello, welcome to Walking Through Romans, number 4, Faith-Fueled Obedience. Hi friends, we continue to walk through Romans this morning in chapter 1, verse 5. Let's read. Through Christ, God has given us the privilege and authority as apostles to tell Gentiles everywhere what God has done for them so that they will believe and obey Him, bringing glory to His name. Listen to it in the New International Version. Through Him, we received grace and apostleship to call all the Gentiles to the obedience that comes from faith for His name's sake. Just yesterday, in his sermon, Pastor Glenn called us to return to the simplicity of the gospel, this good news. To leave the self-help, feel good, I'm okay, you're okay, 7 steps to a better life kind of Christianity. To leave that and to enter into a deeper relationship with Jesus Christ. I agree with him 100%, and that's what Paul is saying in his mission in Romans 1, verse 5. The obedience that comes from faith. I believe that the whole rest of the book of Romans is taken up with unpacking this phrase. Paul isn't saying that salvation requires us to have faith and to do obedience in order to be right with Him. Tim Keller puts it this way. This is an obedience that comes from faith, that springs from a wholehearted trust in Jesus, God's Son. Obedience flows out of faith. It is a consequence of faith, not a second condition for salvation. But second, it does mean that true faith in our hearts brings obedience in our lives. Why? Because the gospel is the declaration that Jesus is the promised King, the risen and powerful Son of God, who now invites you and me in to enjoy the blessings of His rule. To our modern ears, that word obedience is repugnant. But if we allow that to cause us to stop up our ears and return to the feel-good gospel, which really isn't the gospel, we will miss out on the promised deep relationship we can have with Jesus. This isn't anything new, friends. As the great 16th century reformer Martin Luther put it, we are saved by faith alone, but the faith that saves is never alone. It brings about grateful, joyful, trusting obedience. My question for you this week is this. Tell me about your reaction to this word, obedience. Is it colored by your family experience, school, some church abuse in the past? What's your reaction? And what do you want your reaction to be? Let's start a dialogue. After all, it says in Philippians 2:13, it is God who works in you both to will and to do of His good pleasure. Oh, friends, He wants you to love Him and love to obey Him more than you do, and He'll help you do it. God bless.